Ludicrous feed is proudly sponsored by Carloop, data to empower Australia's EV revolution.
Morning everyone, I'm in front of the Volvo EX30, which we'll review today and go through. And I normally do these reviews in kind of a general context, right? To see the features that could fit certain situations, certain buyers. But what I'm going to do today for something different is to make it more personal and I guess go through it with a more discerning eye. Imagining that I'm about to buy this vehicle or wanting to buy a car in this price range and just seeing whether this fits my needs, my circumstances, rather than trying to generalize it to a greater population or a larger population. So yeah, we'll try and make it more personal today. I'll give you my genuine and honest opinions about the car, having had it for the last week, and go through the things I like about the car and what I don't like about the car and what could be done better as well. So stay tuned, let's do this. Okay, so just first up, I just want to thank Volvo Australia for loaning me this car for the last week. It's been a lot of fun. I've done a highway test drive as well, so make sure you check that out. Did a charge as well at a Tesla supercharger out at Campbelltown. So yeah, watch that video too to get my opinions about the drive experience. All right, let's go through the car. And as you'll see straight away, it's, I guess you can call this a compact SUV or a large hatchback. And it's sitting around that $60,000 mark. So that's the kind of budget that I'm imagining that I have to buy a car, and this would be on my short list. So that's the kind of vibe I want to instill today for this video. So let's start with the front. You've got the Thor hammer lights. Straight away you know it's a Volvo / Polestar. They run with that design philosophy. And I reckon the most important thing about this car is this badge right here, Volvo. With EVs these days, a lot of cars coming out of China, relatively unknown for now, but buying a Volvo, you know what you're getting. It's been in the country for a while, so it's got the history behind it, it's got the reputation, so yeah, this is the reason why you would spend the money, because of that Volvo badge. Front of the car looks okay, you know, it's a safe design, nothing too outlandish. No grille, which is fine, it's an EV. It's got the airflow down here, of course, just for cooling, ventilation. Cool number plate, huh? EX30 EV. Front camera, very important for parking. Ultrasonic sensors, also very important for safety. Let's have a look at the tires. Goodyear tires, reputable brand, and it's running on 20-inch as well. So factor that into the equation for the total cost of ownership when you next change your tires. Running along the side down here, plastic down here, which is fine because as you can see, it's been raining this week. All the mud gets on it anyway, which I think is easy to clean. So this is like a blue kind of color. Looks almost white sometimes, but it's a very, very light blue, as you can see in the morning sun. Got cameras on the side under the wing mirror, the parking sensors once again. And then you've got this two-tone trim, so black on top and then the color down below. Let's have a look at the charge port. So CCS2 does charge at a Tesla supercharger, version 3 or version 4, which is good to know as I tested before. Also runs at 11 kilowatt AC as well, three-phase. EX30 badging. Again, this compact SUV size. The back doesn't stick out too much, nothing too outlandish, very safe design. Bit of a spoiler here, a lip. And rear wipers, which I like. It's been raining this week, so very handy for that purpose. All right, so the boot button is here. So when I first got this car, I was looking for the button down here because I guess recently we've all been conditioned to find the button below, right? But now I'm finding the new cars have the buttons up here. So yeah, something to take note of. I guess with the aerodynamics of the car as well, less stuff sticking out from the back probably helps with aerodynamics as the airflow leaves the car. All right, let's push this button here. I'll show you what it looks like on the inside. Got a couple of chlorine bottles, about to go to hardware store to pick up some. And parcel shelf up here, good for privacy screen. Have a look at this too, so it gives you some measurements, right? 0.71 meters between the back seat and the boot, and then you've got measurements too as well. That's very handy for me as a reviewer. I can just show you those measurements if you need. Will it fit? So there you go, we've got a pram, suitcase, plant, small suitcase. What's that? Oxygen cylinder? Yeah, maybe gas cylinder for helium balloons. What is that, a backpack? A lamp? Golf clubs? Golf clubs probably has to fit with the second row down. I can't imagine the golf clubs fitting with the club sticking out, even diagonally. 60-40 split, which is good. And then you've got a safety kit as well. And down below here, let's have a look. What else have we got to show you? So I've got a 12 volt plug there, 12 volt socket, and then you've got a bit more subfloor as well. And I think in this bag, it comes with a home charging kit. Let's have a quick look. So yes, indeed, there's a 10 amp charger in there, just to plug into any wall socket. And then a separate tyre compressor kit, which all fits under here. No spare tyre, but a lot of EVs these days don't have spare tyres. I could only name of one other, the Hyundai Kona, that's got one. Then extra little pockets down here on the side. So I think, it's probably big enough for grocery shopping, as the picture up here suggests, a couple of small suitcases for a getaway. Probably not big enough for a family vehicle, honestly. And I guess that's, who's going to buy this car, right? It's got to be, I reckon it's going to be a second car, or maybe you've got a small family or just a couple living by themselves, or even a single person. If someone who goes to work only and back, so they need a smaller car, not a big SUV. So I think that's where the Volvo EX30 comes in really handy. I guess I spoke about the Hyundai Kona and also other vehicles as well from China. Not that the Kona is Chinese, it's Korean, but other Chinese EVs coming into the market. So a lot of competition ramping up in the small SUV segment. Zeekr X as well, very similar size. This is 4.2 meters, Zeekr X is 4.4. And other Chinese brands in the market, we've got MG4 of course, and then the Aura, GWM, and then BYD Dolphin as well. So there's a lot of competition, a lot of options, which is good for us consumers. So if you want to go down in price, then you'd look at those three brands I just mentioned. And then similarly priced with the Zeekr X and Hyundai Kona EV, which is a bit bigger again. So yeah, that's the quick walk around of the Volvo EX30 from the outside. And then we'll go inside and take a look. And also we've got cameras here in the front here for the smart pilot self-drive, auto-drive function. Two wipers there, there's the VIN. And we've got this proximity area here for the card, which you get two of. Volvo gave me a pack here. We've got two key cards and also a proximity key. I must admit the proximity key doesn't always work very well. It's not super responsive. Works like maybe 80% of the time, but sometimes I just have to fiddle around with the lock or even tap the key card on the side of the car there on the B pillar. So I reckon if I owned this car, I would probably carry around with me the card just in case the proximity sensor decided to give up for the day. All right, some more EX30 badging here as well. So let's head inside and we'll take a look. First up, the side mirrors, very much Geely, Polestar, Volvo, almost bezel-less, frameless mirrors there, which looks really nice. I must say, look, it's locking again. Okay, thank you. And let's have a look at the seating. So we've got just the one dial, which is very nice, minimalistic, it's powered. So to adjust the seat like that, recline, back up, and then forward, backward. Got the option of saving that to your profile each time. Floor mats, usual pedals. Oh, let's have a look at the front, or the front bonnet to start with. Before we head in, some more EX30 badging there, which is nice. I think this has got a little frunk from memory. There you go, nothing to write home too much about. Reminds me almost of the GMP cars. The Ioniq 5 has a very small frunk as well. So probably enough to maybe fit some charging cables, water bottles, small jacket. Nothing huge, but then again, this is not a huge car, so not a deal breaker for me. Single close, it's good. Okay, let's head back inside. Not flush the door handles, which is okay, but that does contribute to aerodynamics, having flush door handles. So hopping in. Oh, I'll show you the side to start with. So very minimalistic down here, which I don't mind too much, except for the fact that the window controls aren't here. They're on the middle of the car, which I kind of have been a bit annoyed about, because every time I've reached over here, I've forgotten that this car's controls are over there. So something to take note of if you have this car. Yeah, this is good. Just a proper manual door handle. Some cars have a button. I don't mind that. It doesn't worry me too much. This, I don't know, I don't quite like. I know this is probably eco-friendly and all that, but it just doesn't look great, I must say. It's all over the car. There's some hard sort of plastic trim. So yeah, it just bothers me a little bit. The stuff's okay. And then this stuff's a bit softer too. So that's all right, that's soft too. And plenty of storage down here, which I like as well. Again, see that? That's sort of that plastic trim there. Yeah, anyway, small details, you know. But you should know. As I said, this is going to be an honest, genuine review based on my experience so far. Just panning across the vehicle here, the front. Okay, so that's pretty soft. Well, not pretty, but it's softish. I don't know, I'm not too fussed with the design. I know it's minimalistic. It's got the Harman Kardon speakers, so, you know, you're buying a Volvo, you care about the brand, so I think having Harman Kardon speakers gives you that confidence that the sound system is at least half decent, which it is. It's not too bad. The bass is quite good. Driver monitoring. It's funny, when I yawn, even though I haven't been driving very, very long, it pops up with a, you know, are you tired? Maybe it's time to take a break, which I find quite amusing. And if I look away for some reason, fiddling on the screen, it tells me to look back on the road too. So you can turn that off, I think. We'll go through the controls. Steering column, pretty straightforward. Manual adjust, I think. Yeah, the manual lever here to adjust the column up and down. This I have found quite annoying. The buttons are not very responsive, particularly with the wing mirror control. You've got to really make very fine adjustments, and again, it doesn't always kind of work. So just be aware of that, the buttons here for the mirror controls. Volume control, again, not super responsive. So Volvo, I don't know if that's going to be a software update for you guys, but it's just something to take note of. So we've got the right stalk for the gear controls. That's fine, works pretty well. Like our Tesla and other EVs I've driven. It kind of saves space down here, not having a little knob or dial right in the center. So that's good, space saver. And then park button here as well. And the car doesn't switch off or on. Like it just, you know, you can just leave the car with the car running and it'll just turn off by itself after a while. So whether you like that or not, and for me, I don't mind that because I don't have to fiddle around for a button, and you can still walk away and it'll just switch off by itself, which is good. Left side indicate. I know there's comments about, you know, whether it should be the right side or left side being a right-hand drive. For me, I don't really care. Like left hand or right hand, I get used to it pretty quickly, but I know it'll bother some people. Auto high beams, auto rain sensing wipers, and then on the side here you can run the fluid for the front and the back as well. It's got nice ambient lighting. I might have shown you when I drove in the tunnel yesterday, so have a look at that video too. And the air conditioning vents feel a little bit flimsy, I gotta say, but it does the job, hey, so I'm not gonna complain too much. Look, the sun's kind of shining down on us, so I might move the car to face the other way, and that way it doesn't feel like we're looking into the sun too much. Okay, so 360 camera, so I'm doing a 3-point turn. Yeah, it's pretty good. Oop, just put that into forward. But pretty good assistance there to get your parking in the right direction and lining up the parking lines. And I've got to say that the screen is pretty good resolution. One of the best I've seen in the EVs I've reviewed so far, so pretty good. Okay, so we're facing the right way now. I think it's time to keep going through the front of the car. Wireless charging on the left side, I find that a bit weird and possibly makes me concerned about attention to detail because obviously it's been a remnant or artifact of a left-hand drive vehicle. Because obviously driving on the right, I want the phone closer to me and it does slip around a bit. So if I stick my phone in that slot, if I'm making a quick turn, it'll just do that, right? Or that, and then turn. I've got to flick it back afterwards. So yeah, that's not sticky enough, unfortunately. Maybe I need to shove it in more. Oh, here we go. Okay, I just done something today. So you can shove it in more. I've just been sitting in place. All right, so there you go. Apologize, everyone. It's good to know. There you go, I learned something today, just from doing this review. So you've got a bit of storage down here. For me, I can stick my cables and things down here. It is USB-C. I guess you can stick takeaway down here too, and keys and whatnot, which I've done. And then there's a privacy screen too. That's quite nice. Plastic's okay, doesn't feel too bad. There's no Apple CarPlay. That's my one biggest gripe at the moment, or Android Auto. It says on the website it's coming soon, but it's not currently available. Why would you release a car without Apple CarPlay, Volvo? It's a bit strange, I got to say. In this modern world, everybody wants phone projection. I guess you should have done that before release. Anyway, just something you should know. Anyway, moving on, we'll talk about the CarPlay situation on the screen in a second, but like I said, the window controls are here on the middle. I'm still not used to it. I've only had it for a few days, I know, but I mean, I'm just curious as to why they changed it to the middle. I guess maybe for ease of production. That way all doors can be made with the same armrest, but everyone's so used to having the mirror window controls here. Why move it here all of a sudden? Anyway. Lock unlock the vehicle like that as well, and then you can adjust the rear windows by pressing rear, and then it'll control the rear windows from here. So again, I don't know, cost saving measure maybe, innovation, whatever you want to call it. Cup holders like this, ta-da! They grip pretty well too, and then you can drop it to one or push it all the way in. So space saving feature in a small car, that's actually quite handy. No center armrest storage. There is storage behind. as a result. So we'll go through that when we go back into the second row. And then you've got obviously the rear view mirror, and then you've got the visor as well with a mirror there too. Ticket holder, this swings out, doesn't extend. And then same with the passenger side. We've got SOS button there, hazard lights, light controls, easy demister access here too. And then the panoramic glass roof, which looks good from the back as well. So we'll go check that out. When we look at the second row, upholstery is here, two-tone fabric, does the job. And assuming this is faux leather as well. Looks very similar to the Tesla Model 3, Model Y kind of material and quality. All right, let's have a look at the second row. Okay, so second row access. So again, the armrests don't have window controls. They are actually located here. Yeah, I don't know. Again, mixed feelings about that, to be honest. Let's keep going here. No center armrest. Similar materials to the front row. And then you've got almost flat floor. Good enough for my purposes. Makes a huge difference for the second row, not having a bump there. Makes long trips a bit more comfortable. No storage down here. That's an oversight again too. I like having sleeve storage there, to be honest. I'm not sure if the front row headrests can be moved. Looks pretty stable. I can't see any controls to move it up and down. You can move the second row armrest up and down though. And of course you can bring this forward too. There you go, access to the second row. So ISOFIX anchors. I don't have kids that need child seats anymore, but that is of course important for those who do. And again, this is probably good for a very young family, right? If you're just transitioning a new child, this will suffice for a few years at least. Okay, let's hop in. So USB-C charging ports, bit of storage down here too, and then extra storage here because of the lack of center armrest storage for the front row. And you've got space here you can put, for example, umbrellas. There's a little bin here that comes out, and then storage there as well. That's quite innovative actually. But you know, this is where I'm sitting, right, with my legs here. I'm not terribly tall, just average height. I've got one fist between my knees and the front row. So of someone of my height sitting in that front row too. So I think for taller people this might be a struggle, just letting you know. And that's the view from the back here. I'm not sure if it's infrared treated. It probably is UV treated. You can see a bit of a tint there between the front, which is not tinted definitely, and then the roof as well. Reading lights and hooks. It's good, and another hook there as well. So yeah, pretty basic second row, nothing to write home too much about, does the job. Questionable legroom, I guess, for taller people, but that's an issue with most small cars like this. Hop back in the front row to have a further discussion about the screen. All right, so I won't bore you guys too much with the infotainment screen, just to give you a quick overview. You've got obviously no instrument cluster screen, so you're relying on the top of this screen here for your drive telemetry. So speedometer is going to be here, which is not too bad, very similar to the Tesla. You're looking a little bit to the side, I know. It's going to be a deal breaker for some people because you know you want this center instrument cluster screen, but for me, having come from a Tesla, I'm not too worried. I can look that way easily enough. Gear controls are there, and you've got the expected range, which is way off, by the way, totally wrong. It's like 500 plus when you've got a full charge. It's just not reality. For a road trip, as I showed you guys yesterday, you're probably closer to 400. On urban roads, maybe 300 plus. Okay, so I know that's weird. It's normally the other way around, but I don't know. That was reality for me yesterday. Far more efficient on the highway. As you can see, a remnant already of that, 17.3. Normally it's about 20, which I'll go through when I do the walkthrough. Current state of charge of the battery, odometer, auto sensing wipers, and then the visualizations for drive, which we'll go through when we move the car afterward. It's got its own SIM card, running LTE, 5G I think as well. At least 4G. Bluetooth, Wi-Fi connectivity. Over-the-air software updates are promised. Time, temperature, the usual. Google Maps, EV trip planning, which is great. Let me just show you real quick. So recent, let's go to like Melbourne. I always like to use Melbourne as an example. Classic road trip, Sydney to Melbourne. And then you can see here, it'll tell you that we need to charge at least 4 times along the way. And you can adjust how much battery you want to arrive in Melbourne with, and also edit the charging stops as well. Okay, that's quite handy. It doesn't pick up the Tesla superchargers. That's one thing I have found so far. You got the audio, that's my phone connectivity without Apple CarPlay. I've talked enough about that, that's fine. As a reviewer, I like Apple CarPlay because I can just chuck all my settings straight away on the screen, but I've had to log into my Spotify separately. It does have YouTube, it's got an app store as well, so obviously the Google Play Store, sign in to download stuff. YouTube works well, I've tried that this week, usual phone. You can bring up the cameras as well, like that. Google Assistant, control the boot from here. Demisters, glove box is very small, right there, very small. Nothing here on the side. Temperature controls, I'll just bring up the main screen to start with before we go through the temp controls. Yeah, Bluetooth media, radio, camera, Google Assistant, Maps, Play Store, user manual, YouTube, phone, Spotify. You can get my apps through the Play Store. That is the quick air conditioning controls. Heated seats for the front row only, heated steering wheel, and then you can link the temperature for front row passenger and driver. If you want more AC controls, here we are. Yep, it's pretty straightforward. Fan speed, climate off completely, and then you've got the particulate matter showing you that's good currently. Air quality is good, and then timers for parking comfort. Timer for air conditioning comes on as well, which is handy, and then more settings like that. So auto steering wheel heated, I think it's 7 degrees. I can't remember exactly what the cutoff is for it coming on. All right, so that's the air conditioning settings, pretty straightforward. No buttons for aircon. I know that's a deal breaker for some people. For me, I'm not too fussed. I'll get used to it pretty quickly. Push the button down here, pretty easy enough to fiddle with. It might be an issue on the road if you're driving. Maybe a Google Assistant will help with that as well. Let's have a look at the car settings. So quick controls for wing mirror control. Again, it's not super responsive with the buttons here on the steering wheel. Just something to take note of, but luckily it does save to a driver profile, which is good. You can switch profiles pretty easily as well, as you can see there. Boot control here, glove box, just did that. And then auto wipers, settings low, medium, high. I found one pedal driving a little bit too jerky towards the end range when you're braking, so I've turned it off. Pretty happy to use the physical brake pedal, which also engages regen braking, only friction brakes at the very end, which is fine. Car status, everything is okay. Tire pressure, different units, usual, and then trip info, all the stuff I love, all the stats. As I said before, the efficiency of highway driving. This trip was 80 kilometers of highway driving yesterday on my highway range test. So actually better than, look, 2,000, almost 3,000 kilometers of mixed urban use and mixed drivers as well. So quite a good sample size and sample, drivers between all the different journalists that have borrowed this car for the media loans, and averaging 20 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, right? So this car is a 64 kilowatt hour usable battery. So you can expect a range of about 300, maybe 320 kilometers with that usable range lithium-ion NMC battery, or a bit better on the highway, probably closer to 350 or 400 depending. So that's interesting to know actually. And then you've got trip consumption down here as well, and you can adjust the settings for resetting after each trip or after recharging. So that is the stats for nerds, which I love, of course, as you all know. And then let's go to settings. Okay, so all the settings of the car is here, so let's go through them really quickly. Pilot assist is their sort of self-drive autopilot, or you can switch between that or speed limiter. You can engage that, as I showed you in my video, using this stalk here to tap down once, or you can engage it here as well. I find that using the stalk is far more responsive than using this one. I've never really used speed limiter, I must say, in any of the cars I've tested. It's always been sort of pilot assist to test that. Time interval to vehicle, it defaults back to long, which I don't like. I prefer short driving in Sydney and on the highway, so you're a bit closer to the car ahead. One pedal drive you can on off from here. Performance all-wheel drive, if you want to go a bit faster. 3.6 seconds, I think. I'll go through the specs shortly. So pretty quick, right? And then you can look at all the safety features, which of course Volvo is very much known for. You can go through all that yourselves. There's rear collision warning, blind spot information, rear cross traffic alerts, speed limit, offset. Turn all that stuff off, I don't want to know. It's got already, as I'll show you when I'm quickly going to drive, there's a posted speed sign here in the corner when you're driving, when it picks up the different speed signs on the road. Okay, so that's the driving settings, and then controls all here as well. Different car modes, car wash mode, tow mode, parking, comfort. Turn the car off, so you can do that manually if you like. Display brightness settings, rear fog lights, primary lighting auto, I'll just leave it on auto. And then you can match the neutral ambience color as well. You can change the colors too, so it makes it look a bit funkier. Rain sensitivity, we'd looked at that before. And then side mirrors you can adjust. It doesn't have dipping mirrors when you're reversing, so that's one thing that's a bit frustrating. Wiper service position. Lock rear power windows, child lock I guess. Reduced alarm mode. And then other locking features as well. Glove box lock with a pin, that's good for security. Guidance light, yeah, that's handy to have if you're walking away. Confirmation sound, I don't like confirmation sound, to be honest. That beep, I guess, when you walk away. Glove box open, trunk open from here as well. What else we got? Sound controls, like I said, Harman Kardon speakers, so pretty good quality, as you know. Quantum Logic surround, it's okay. And equalizer, the usual. Customization, volume there as well for each of the different media outputs. Yeah, noise compensation, adjustment of volume depending on noise level. I guess depending on how fast you're driving. Touch sounds, I find that handy. Connectivity, as I said, Bluetooth, I think, there you go, so a picture for 5G, so I get this 5G connectivity and the Wi-Fi as well, for presumably so over this air software updates and media. Charging settings, so it's an NMC battery, so you can adjust that for daily drive, which you should only charge to 90% for most of the time, except for going on long trips, 100%. And then charging schedule is here as well, so that's quite handy to know. Not for different days, right? Just for one charging schedule. Okay, and then what else have we got? Profiles, like I said, you can edit your profiles through all that. There is an app as well, which I didn't download this week. Looks pretty straightforward. Okay, so that's the EX30 app, which is different from the other Volvo apps for some reason. That's what it looks like if you want to see. Again, all the basic controls are there, which is good. Okay, let's keep going with the screen. We're almost there. Privacy settings, Google settings, and system settings. Okay, so pretty straightforward. Oh, there's a security update as well. That's been done already. That's good. Okay, so like I said, the screen is pretty high resolution. I like, pretty responsive from that point of view. This is not so responsive. Not worried about not having a cluster screen. Doesn't concern me personally. Everything else seems okay. Let's go through the actual technical specs of this car. Okay, so I've got my cheat here in front of me with the specs, so I know what I'm talking about. So yeah, so it's starting at 59,990 for the single motor, rear-wheel drive, extended plus, 66,290 for the ultra single motor extended, and then you've got the performance twin motor, which is this one. That's kind of sitting in right now, Ultra, which is 71,290. That's what they've quoted the MSRP at. So important specs, obviously dual motor, 3.6 seconds 0 to 100, 315 kilowatts, 543 newton meters of torque for this car. 5.3 seconds 0 to 100 for the single motor, so no slouch from that point of view. Look, 3.6 seconds for this car is pretty amazing, pretty fast. What else? Battery is 69 kilowatt hour or 64 kilowatt hour usable, lithium ion NMC, and maximum range WLTP, which I use as a guide, not so much as strict rules, as you know, because it changes depending on your driving style and how fast you're going and all that. So they've quoted it as 445 kilometers to 462, depending on which spec you get. Under 2 tons, 1920 kilograms. And the colors are yellow, blue, which is this one, vapor gray, crystal white, and onyx black. But we'll go through the drive dynamics very shortly, just around this car park and down onto the main road. But you know, for a car this small, the handling's pretty good, as you expect from a small car. Smaller turning circle, not too much roll with the suspension, firm enough, fairly sporty in this car because it's a twin motor. You're not going to really need that much traction on Sydney roads that often, except maybe with really bad rain, but even then you'd probably go slow. So maybe if you go into the snow, then or alpine regions, then that's where the twin motor comes in handy for that extra bit of traction. All-wheel drive, but I think you'd be pretty happy with single motor from that point of view anyway. All right, well, just as a summary right now before I do my drive, based on what you saw today, let me know in the comment section, would you still buy this car? For me personally, if I wanted a safe bet in the Volvo with this budget of around 60 to 70,000, then I would strongly consider the Volvo. Like I said, it's a safe bet. You know what you're getting with Volvo. Nothing too funky, pretty safe design. Huge gripe, of course, is no Apple CarPlay, but they keep promising it's coming, so I would push Volvo very strongly for that if I was going to buy this car. The tech's okay, but you can tell it's not quite there. Some of the buttons are not responsive, like I said, but otherwise, look, the interior I'm not too fussed with. It's very subjective, of course. You know, for this price range, you could probably accept that. But yeah, it's a good buy, I think, if I was looking for a car of this size, just as a quick summary before I take you for a drive. And don't forget to watch my test drive, long-range test drive and efficiency and highway range test and charging test as well in that separate video. All right, enough talk from me. Let's go take a drive and let the car do the talking for itself. All right, let's get going. And what a glorious day it is for a car review, huh? Very lucky today. All right, let's go. Of course, the one huge benefit of a small car like this is that handling is pretty good, right? Because it's got a small turning circle, not too much roll, not too bouncy as well. So from that point of view, if you want a small car just to get around town, this is almost perfect for that reason. Let's put the maps up for you guys. That's how you get there. Just double tap that or get rid of all the apps that's running at the moment. Okay, zip around here. I do enjoy driving a smaller car sometimes. And look, to be honest, you know, if I was, you know, if I didn't have, if I wasn't with family often, I'd probably get something like this, to be honest, just to zip around town for work. I just need something slightly bigger for my purposes because that's why I love sedans, because I do ferry the kids around sometimes, occasionally. I mean, we've got a big Tesla Model Y for the family vehicle. This is probably too small for us as a family car. This is good, a good occasional car, a good second car. It would be, yeah, it would be up there. I'd give this strong consideration as a second car, definitely. You might be able to just hear a low pedestrian noise. That's why the window's down. It's probably difficult to hear. It's a very low pedestrian sound, warning sound. It's like, sounds like a loud hairdryer. You can just kind of hear it, right? Very faint. Not too annoying. Not too weird either. Some of those EVs have got like this weird electronic noise. Okay, let's just drive around a little bit. Like I said, you saw the chlorine bottles in the back there. I might go to the hardware store and pick up some chlorine for the pool. Concrete roads are good for testing noise cabin insulation, not too bad. Of course, being an EV, you hear a lot more off-the-road noise. Might do a few more corners just to prove the handling is good in this car. Roundabouts are good for that purpose. Accelerate out. That's good. And zippy, right? 3.6 seconds for the performance, which is what this is. So good enough to get out of tricky situations. Oh, you know what? Let's keep going. Let's turn left a bit further up. Again, the greatest benefit of owning an EV is home charging, of course. You can hear the chlorine vats rolling around in the back. Oh, here's a good road for a bit of handling. And we're just driving out. All right, so here's a good chance to test that acceleration, just turning right here, because this can be a tricky little turn. super handy. It's good. All right, well, just a quick little test for you guys here in Chatswood. Seeing some interesting driving. But if you want to watch more of me driving on the highway, yeah, check out that second video, like I said, that I've already done. Driving out to the Tesla Supercharger in Campbelltown. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. Hope this style of video is more to your liking, a bit more personalized. It's hard for me to encompass all situations, right? So I thought I'd just focus on myself, imagining if I were to purchase a vehicle like this, or in the market to purchase something with this kind of price range, whether I would consider this Volvo EX30. And the indicator noises too come out of that speaker. When I indicate right, it comes out of this speaker. So just nice little detail again. All right, everyone. Well, thanks so much for watching. Until the next Ludicrous feed video, happy charging.